Madam Secretary, our Secretary for ICT, E-Government and Digital Economy, the Chairman for KARMA, Dr. Cleophas Ambira, distinguished ICT directors, members of the Kenya Association of Record Managers and Archivists, honorable members, good morning. Hamjambo. Well, I think, Madam Secretary, I'll take a few minutes to, first of all, introduce myself and state the role of the department that I head. So, like you've heard, my name is Gilbert Matura. I am the Director and Head of the Smart Government Department. And this is a department established deliberately under the Office of Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service in the larger Executive Office of the President to coordinate implementation of all digital initiatives across government. And we do so by offering platforms like this, whereby we come together to consult, to collaborate, to partner on how to drive digital transformation agenda forward. And like you all know, in 2023, I think so, His Excellency the President gave a directive which later became a digitization policy, that we digitize all our government records. We establish digital platforms through which we deliver services to the people or to the citizens of our country. We continue to re-engineer our processes, to automate our services, to onboard our services on the digital platforms, and also to ensure that these services are smart and meet the required quality standards. And to this end, I want to report that we have made significant strides. We have onboarded over 22,800 services on the digital platforms. I know that is a big number, that sometimes when people hear the figure, they get surprised. But these are small services that have been broken into many services, and ideally the services that have been onboarded on the eCitizen platform, and Madam Secretary would confirm that, are around 2,000 and something. But when you divide those services into smaller bits, like when you look at the passports, issuing of passport, it has like over 10 or so services, under it. What I'm trying to say is that on the digital front, we have made significant strides, and the government, through the President and through the Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, and also through the leadership of the Ministry of ICT, are giving political leadership and support, by championing, by expediting, and by allocating resources required to ensure that that initiative is implemented. Madam Secretary, in 2024, I had the privilege of attending a KARMA conference that was, done in Naivasha. I think it was in November, around 11th. And my initial thinking about KARMA was just a small organization But I was surprised at the level of organization and planning that went into that activity, the number of people that attended, because it attracted so many record managers and archivists, the private sector, and development partners from across the world. And that is when I realized that KARMA is a serious professional organization that we in the ICT sector need to collaborate with them to drive the agenda of digitizing government records forward. I know there is still another conference coming in November, between 3rd and 7th. And this time round, we have collaborated with KARMA, to host that event that is going to be in Mombasa. So the Smart Government Department in the Office of Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service has collaborated. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome you, or rather invite you to that event. It is going to be in November, and I think the timing and location are very strategic. It is at the end of the year, and by the ocean, and after very engaging discussions, by the ocean, we can have time to unwind, to relax, and close the year in style. So I know the KARMA officials will send official invites to you directly, and we will also try to see how we can do it from our Office of the Chief of Staff to give it some weight. And this event normally is very engaging. I happened to attend the event in Mombasa for the 5 days. And it was really engaging, discussions where the record managers were talking about how to modernize records keeping and archives, documents management, and how to automate their processes through development of digital platforms and adoption of technology. Daktari, today I want to thank you for inviting the ICT directors, into this conversation. They have a central role, in the digitization agenda or digitization of government records, which the government is embarking on. I know Madam Secretary will talk about the elaborate plan, and, roadmap and implementation framework that the ICT Ministry has developed now to bring this issue of digitization of government records, to a final implementation. Someone said we've had several false starts, but I want to encourage you that every good thing takes time to implement, and therefore I know this time round we are going to run with it and complete the race. We cannot digitize records without record managers. These are the owners of the process. They are our storytellers. They are the guardians and the architects of our institutional memory. So, Madam Secretary, today is not just a breakfast meeting, but I think this is a convergence. And it's also an affirmation of a collaboration between record managers and ICT directors, and that we will walk this road together, share experiences, and record managers, I'm sure, will be in the front line, leading in the digitization of our records. I do not want to say more than that, because Madam Secretary, I know, will talk a lot about digitization of records and the plans the ICT ministry has, because it's the implementing agency. Ours is just to see that it is done in accordance to the policies and within time, and we support them to allocate the necessary resources to ensure that it is implemented. With those many remarks, it is now my humble duty to invite our Secretary for ICT, E-Government and Digital Economy, Madam Mary Kerema, to come on stage and give her remarks.